Guess who's back? Yeah, I'm back. I'm still a little bit croaky. In fact, I'm still very croaky, aren't I? It should get better. It should get better. I'm on the mend. It's better than it was last week. I just got to be careful I don't strain it too much. But hey, I'm back. And I have missed doing the live chats. I've still been working in the background on stuff. Web designs, completing a project. I've got a possible project today, but I'm just trying to work out how much of a deal breaker I have with a client. So yeah, still been busy. Hey, George. As you can tell, George, I am still croaky and clearing my throat. It's really annoying. In the daytime, I'm not too bad. But when it gets to the evening, just before I go bed, and when I am in bed, hey Tahir, I am coughing like mad at night. In fact, I'm now sleeping in a bedroom which is far from my wife and my son because I'm coughing so much at night. Sometimes I'm coughing up until 2 a.m. in the morning. I try to go sleep and I start coughing, and it's really difficult. So I wake up exhausted and tired. I think I sound better. I mean, if you were to give me a score out of 10 compared to how I normally sound, where would you say I am? It's difficult for me to process because I keep thinking I keep thinking that I'm okay, but I'm not sure. Hey, Inderpreet. It was funny because I felt like last week that I was only did 2 days last week live chat, so I missed 5 days. Oh, that's good to hear, George. Thanks. And I just felt like a part of me was I was missing out on fun and life, you know. So one of my clients is just I say client, we haven't agreed anything yet, but they've come back to me with clarifying something I asked them. Does anyone have a view on creating headers using HTML and CSS? So obviously with Elementor and probably Divi and other solutions, you might create your header using the page builder. Yeah, go on, Tahir, ask your question. And I've had some people sometimes say to me, but they want the header as a HTML, which I understand because it's great for page performance. But if you have a header which is a mega menu, I don't even want to start to process or think about how would you create that header as a HTML. I mean, I'm just thinking, that's a heap of a whole load of work. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's a lot of work, right? Anyone here build headers in HTML? Yes, go on, Tahir, ask your question. Hey, Paul. Well, sorry, George, it's not faster. It's just got less. Well, from what I've read, it's better for your performance side of things. So it will be, you'll have more control over how it's created. So the speed bit is, so when I said faster, sorry, I meant performance-wise, sorry. So just checking the questions. Tahir says, is getting this issue, text remains visible during web font while checking speed. Yeah, so are you, Tahir, preload the fonts. It might even relate to your icons. Sometimes when it says the font, the web font, it's actually referring to your icon. So is it your icon or is it your font? Exactly, Paul. It's a lot of work. So I've got someone who they might need a website built with a mega menu, and I'm like, yeah, mega menu, fine. But they want that header to then be built in HTML, and I'm like, hold on. The mega menu itself is a bit of work, but then you also then want it written in HTML, and I'm like, that's a lot of work. That's a whole heap of work. So Tahir, I'm using custom fonts and I remove Google Fonts, right? But then Tahir, depending on your optimization tool or asset cleanup, you can preload the fonts. So you might want to do that. So Bomana, well, here's the thing, George. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. And what they've said to me is, their website is completely separate, which makes no sense to me. The website is completely separate, which is why they need HTML. That sentence in itself makes no sense to me. The website is completely separate. Separate from what? Reality? The multiverse? What is it separate from? I don't get that. Makes no sense to me. Just back to Bomana, can you please tell me how to put a GST number field in a WordPress? What's a GST number field? Sorry, I don't know what a GST number field is. What is a GST number field? Is that like a counter? Do you want to just clarify, Bomana, what is a GST number field? But yeah, George, like I said, I don't get it. Because what they said before was that mega menu has to be, the header has to appear on every page. And I went, well, yeah. If it's in your header template, it will be visible. So I don't get why we need the HTML. Yeah, Paul, I think that's what's happening. Because if you, hey Jason, because if you build the header in a header template and the mega menu in the header template, it will appear on every page. So you don't need the HTML header. I just don't get it. Yeah, Jason, it's still, I think because it's croaky, I don't think I can express myself as animated and excited as I like to do. But I'm getting there. Oh, right, tax, so GST. I'm not sure, Bomana. Bomana, this is where you might want to use Forminator, and then you could add on a tax bit there as a calculated field. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Right, so Forminator might be the field. Yeah, exactly, Jason. I've just got to keep it in check, basically. Maybe try that, Forminator, if it's a calculated field. I'm not sure. Yeah, George, this is what, for me, it's like I even said to the client, I am not going to start pricing this job up. I am not going to put down timescales. I am not going to start talking about resources, branding, logo, none of that. Because it sounds to me like this is a deal breaker. So if this is a deal breaker, I need to understand why exactly do you need this? Because I don't see the benefit, right? Especially if it's a convoluted mega menu, you know, and I know, I'm not going to tell you, but I know what their budget is. And I've said, right, this budget will cover roughly, but you now want the mega menu to be completely built in Elementor and then built as a HTML. I just don't see why. I just don't get it. I have a feeling if I read between the lines, because they say they've got another separate website, maybe what they want to do is take the HTML and stick it into another website. However, if that other website is also an Elementor website, then you would just download the header template, export it, and import the template elsewhere, right? Export, import. But if the other website is a non-Elementor website, then I get why they need a HTML. However, I still feel like that's not my problem. And here's the bit where I like to show off our integrity. Here is someone who's prepared to pay us, who's prepared to give a deposit for a new website, but I am not taking the money until I know exactly what they want. And this is something I keep stressing. Do not take on a job because you think you can do it. Only take, doesn't matter if they're going to pay you. Only take on a job that you know you can deliver without fail. All right? Don't look at the money and go, yeah, whoa, money. No. Look at the job. Can you do it? Then, Bomana, if the GSD number field is unique to the person entering it, then just put in a number field. Just put in a number field that they would complete. Hey, Natalie, a newbie on SEO, and all my title links are my keyword. Is it possible after publishing to modify them? Yeah, you just go to quick edit. You just modify them. I mean, bear in mind, though, make sure it reflects on your keyword. But when you're in WordPress and you go to pages, WordPress pages, quick edit, you can modify the title. Careful of modifying the slug, especially if you've got loads of links and stuff. But yeah, you would go to WordPress pages, quick edit. By the way, anyone that's joined in, I still have a bit of a croak in my voice. It's getting better. It is getting better. I was really bad last week. But it is getting better. Hey, Carry Pass. How you doing? Does that answer your question, Natalie? And Bomana? I mean, is there a reason, Bomana, you're not putting in a number field into your form for the GST? Because that's what it sounds like. No probs, Natalie. By the way, this is my, believe it or not, this is my third Pepsi Max in 8 days. In 8 days, this is my third bottle. I've been cutting back on Pepsi Max. I needed one today, but I have been cutting back. So every 2 or 3 days, when I go to do a bit of shopping, I can go and get myself a Pepsi Max. But most likely tomorrow and Wednesday, I won't be drinking Pepsi Max. So I'm slowly cutting back on it. No, I've just been cutting back, Jason. And by the way, if I do cough or just clear my throat, I might have to move the mic away because I don't want it to blow out your speakers. Yeah, so this HTML client. Right, Bomana, so it sounds like you're adding in some conditional logic then into the standard of the field. Okay, Natalie, so if you modify the links, yeah, this is what I meant though. So if you modify the title, you can override. So let's say the title of your page is My Super Page, but the link is My Average Page. That's your link. When you go to quick edit and you change the title, you can change the slug to be My Average Link. You can override it. Oh, freshly squeezed lemon water. I don't like the sound of that, Jason. Me and lemons are a funny thing. If there is a bit of lemon added to something and I cannot see the lemon, and it's only a little bit, I don't mind. If I can see the lemon, or it's got lots of lemon juice added, it puts me off. I'm not I'm not overly keen on anything that's too citrusy. Does that make sense, Natalie? So when you go to quick edit, the title you can change, but the slug, you can overwrite that to be what you wanted it to be, so it still maintains your social media links. I'm just quickly replying to some messages that have come through. I'm kind of like this. I know, Jason. It's me and lemons are a funny thing. Hey, Jimmy. I'm getting there. The voice is still croaky. It's croaky. So I find if I put on a deep voice, I can almost hide it. But when I try to talk normally, it feels there's a bit of a weakness, isn't there, in the tone? I sound a bit like someone is. YMYL? What's YMYL? Sorry, I'm not great on acronyms. What's YMYL? Your mama, your... What is YMYL? You, me, why love? Why is YM? Hey, Catherine. Hey, Catherine, I'm really impressed by how much work you've been doing, okay, with the videos and your lives as well. Well done. You've been really out there. Well done. You get addicted, don't you, to it? Cheers, Jimmy. Yeah, so Natalie, does anyone know what YMYL is? It's money on your website. It's website on your money, your life categories. I'm not following that. I have to be honest. Your money, your life categories. You might need to give me a bit more on that, Natalie. Really sorry. It's a bit like about longer than that. 7 years ago, someone said to me YOLO, and I went, what? It was in the office. They went YOLO, and I went, what are you talking about? They were like YOLO. I went, what are you talking about? You know, you only live once, YOLO. And I was like, just say you only live once. What are you saying YOLO for? YOLO sounds like YOLO. Yeah, it's addictive, isn't it, Catherine? It's like me not doing many live chats last week. I felt empty. So Natalie, your money, your life categories. Tell us a bit more about that. So Bermana, I know you're probably still there. I'm just doing a search on Google for can you add in conditions into the Elementor form? I can't remember if you can. I can't remember. Maybe I need to just jump in so you can say the 14th character. I'm pretty sure you can. I'm just trying to find a way to do it. Bit like FOMO, innit? YOLO, FOMO. YMYL. Don't know what that is. This kind of category website is ranking slowly by Google because you need this kind of right. Okay, so the obvious way in how you're going to get higher up in the rankings tree, bog off, my favourite one. The only way you're going to get higher up is by doing lots of social media posts, lots of posting, lots of things out there. No, I've never attended a word camp. I actually got invited by 2 separate people to this year's, but I said no because I got other things on. But that was for the word camp. So back to Natalie. Posts, guest posts, social media posts. Basically, you got to get yourself out there. So Zoom, you've said audio. Can you not hear me? Can you not hear me? Can you not hear me? Hey? Yeah, Elemental Form comes with a Pro version. I can't remember though if the Pro version, Elemental Form, allows you to. I'm just trying to double check. Does it allow you to set the standard? I'm not sure it does. Do you know what, Jimmy? I think I'll be in a bad voice by that point anyway. Hey, Zoom. Good to have you here. Yes, I'm just doing a check, Bomana, on can you enforce it so that a field has... I'm sure you can. It's something you do in SQL where you can kind of say it must have a certain letter format or number format. But I'm not sure. It might be one of those things where what you do is, that would have been good, Jimmy. We could have gone and had a barbecue. So what you could do, Bomana, if you're still there, is in the placeholder, you would put example. So put an example, you put ABC 1 2 3 ABC. Zoom, I haven't got my voice back. How do I sound like I got my voice back? I've got a massive backlog of videos I need to record and do. I don't think I'll do them until Wednesday or Thursday. I need my voice to be a little bit better. But I'm still not 100%. I'm no way am I 100% yet. I think I'm at about 75, 80. So if anyone knows how to put a specific character format on an elemental form, please do add it in the comments. What if you want an elemental form but you want it to be character, number, character, number, something like that. How would you do it? How would you do it? I do have to be careful that I don't get a bit overexcited, otherwise I will strain my voice and then I'll regret it. I was head of analytics soon. So I started off as a information analyst back in 2002 when I was promoted and all that. And about 10 years ago I was head of analytics for Leicestershire. And then I went over to Lincoln, and then I did some work in London and Kent as well. So I work a lot with the doctors and nurses, the doctors and hospitals in Leicestershire, managing their budgets, what they can and cannot spend money on. So I'm the bad guy, but also analysing data, problem solving, trends and stuff like that. How much does it pay? So in the you start off, you don't start off high, don't forget, you got to get there. So my pay before I left the job in January, so I've retired from the NHS now, was 65,000. So it was 65k per year. But you have to start off, and the start off is about, I think it's 21, I think it is, 1,000 a year, where you start off, and then you got to obviously work your way up. Yep. I used to train people in the NHS on SQL. I was one of the first people in the Leicestershire NHS to use SQL. So I kind of kick-started the bandwagon on all of that. I helped write the patients at risk of rehospitalisation SQL. So it works out based on your history, what's the chances that you're going to be admitted into hospital in the next 12 months. And it was fairly accurate. It was fairly accurate. It all depends on opportunities, but you're probably looking at about, I don't know, 9-10 years. 9-10 years. Mine was slower because the opportunities when I first started in the NHS were very small. Progression was very slow. And then in the last, I would say in the last 7-8 years, there's more opportunity now. There's loads more opportunity. But you got to know your stuff, because it's not just about numbers and data. It's a bit like when it comes to web design as well. Just because you know how to design a website, whatever, doesn't mean you're going to make loads of money. It's about how you apply it. So you could have 10 people who design websites. The 2 that apply it differently, bit of innovation, will do probably better than the 8 that just do the same old stuff, because there's nothing different. Same comes back to analysis. You could have 10 analysts, right, or analysts, okay? 8 of them just do the same old stuff. They just come to work, do their bit, go home. They're just going to, do along, chug along. The 2 that go above and beyond, that do something different, analyze differently, show off a new methodology to problem solve or a new solution, they're the ones that accelerate quicker. You could say that about everything in life, right? 10 people bake a cake. 8 of them just do the same old sponge cake, blah-de-blah-de-blah. They're brilliant. They taste wonderful. Then you have 2 that create a sponge cake where the flavours just pop. The look of it, the methodology they did, that can really do it. George, you found... Do you know what, George, I was searching... Okay, yep. So George has found one on Google. So Bomana. Here you go. Have a look at that. It's a really convoluted solution, isn't it, George? I would hope that Elementor sort this out. Yeah, takes a lot to understand it as well, doesn't it? So I was just looking at the solution. It's a bit like, is SQL harder than... It's 2 different things. The language you use is very similar, but they are 2 separate things. They are very separate. They are separate. But I used to train analysts, heads of department on SQL up and down the country. Hey, well, Jimmy, you're getting more and more active on LinkedIn. So, anytime I see any one of you start to post stuff on LinkedIn, of course I'm gonna like and comment. The key bit is not to just like. So when you see a Twitter or a LinkedIn or a Facebook post that you like, the way you can help each other out is not to just like, it's to comment as well. Or to, a bit like George, when you retweet, whatever, you can put a comment in. So George helps out, anyone out there that helps anyone out, that's the best way to do it. So always try and comment. That's always a good tip. It helps the algorithm in some weird way. Well, believe it or not, okay, Jimmy, I'll be honest now. So after I saw yours and I commented, I then spent 10 minutes just going through my LinkedIn and commenting, only on the posts where I don't mind if the commenter comes back to me, you know. And it's a great way of networking. You know, it's like 5-10 minutes of your time. You just, it's a form of showing your appreciation. Yeah, good question. So when you share, you can share to your group. If you want to share to someone else's group, okay, what you need to do is when you look at a post in the top right corner, there are 3 dots. You click the dot and you put copy link. So you copy the link, right? And then you go to your group and post it in the group. It's a bit long-winded. That's one thing about LinkedIn I don't like. It's a bit long-winded. So I'm not sure. I mean, hopefully Bomana has seen that. But I'll keep your link in. I'll keep your email, George, in case Bomana comes back and he doesn't see that. For him to go away and play with it. This is where, though, this sounds to me a little bit like one of those situations where I don't know if what Bomana was trying to do with his Elementor form was that for his website or for a client. I think it was a client. And this is where, if the client told me this at the start, I would say to the client, I don't think we can do that. Even though George has provided a solution, I would probably still say, I don't think we can fully properly do it exactly what you want. Here's a compromise before I take on the job. Mainly because, let's just say this solution works. Brilliant. What if it doesn't completely work? You're now stressing out because you agreed with the client you're going to do all this stuff and now you can't properly do it. You're now stressing because you want to get paid. You want a good review. So someone contacted me 4 days ago. A few more details yesterday. I know what the budget is. They've given me an example website. I understand what they're looking for. There's a few questions they still need to answer. But now they've gone and said they want something. And I've said, right, I'm not going to price this up properly. I'm not going to give you timelines or a proper quote. No deposit, no nothing's going to be paid. Are you sure you want this? Because if you really want this, I'm not doing it. Because I don't want to stress out over it. So there's something about staying in control. And if I'd agree to pick up a job, so let's pretend I'm Bomana now. I'm picking up a job for a client. And then the client says to me, right, that form must have these rules in. So you can't fill in the form unless you hit these rules. I would go back to the client and go, you didn't tell me that at the start. Right? You didn't tell me that at the start. So either we modify the quote and the price you're willing to pay, or I just do it, or you got to pay extra to get it built, or we go our separate ways. Because this is what you call scope creep. The minute you let scope creep in, it will happen again. So if Bomana is still there, things I'd love to know is this for a client? Did you know about this condition at the start? Did you agree to it even though you didn't know how to do it? Or you weren't sure about it? Because I must tell you now, okay, anyone out there that goes, hey, yeah, we'd still take it on and we'd work it out. Don't. I've been there. When we first started off, because you were, I don't want to say desperate, but you wanted the work. You wanted the review. You go, yeah, we'll do that. And then panic kicks in, right? It ain't worth it. No form of panic is worth it when you're in control of that panic, all right? The whole point why you're self-employed or you're working as an agency or a freelancer is that you want to be the master of your destiny. I will take a holiday when I want to take a holiday. I will do X, Y, Z when I want to do it. I will get up, go to sleep, work whenever. Not, I can't go sleep tonight because I'm stressing. Because that's when the fun in web design disintegrates. All right, I'm telling you, it's not worth it. So don't be afraid to ask those difficult questions or to be honest. Here's someone who's prepared to basically match the budget we would have set aside for it. This is good. This is probably 2 weeks worth of work because it's quite a big website. This is good. We'd be happy. They'll be happy. But the one condition they've said, I don't want to know. And that is where my integrity comes out, in that I don't want to be stressed out, but at the same time, I don't want to go, yeah, fine. They pay. They are expecting a website. And then I come along and go, oh, you know what? I can't really do that. Or I don't think it's going to work. That's not fair on them. It's not fair on you. So George, design a phone call 3 minutes ago. Can you do that magic trick where I gave you the design and it's done in 24 hours? If it's a magic trick you've done before, yes. If it's a magic trick where no one has told you the secret, no. So Soom, clarification, SQL analysis is the same SQL and web servers. No, there's different SQL. There is MySQL. I'll be honest, MySQL is a substandard way of doing SQL. I'll tell you now, substandard. I used to do T-SQL, Transact SQL. So I'm doing programming and stuff like that, algorithms. So it depends. There's different types of SQL. There's loads of books and tutorials online as well. So it depends on what you're trying to get at. Exactly, George. The thing is, Zoom, it comes back to how you are trained. So here's how I would train people, okay? I'm going to come back to George in a moment. Here's how I would train you on SQL, okay? Listen to me. Here is a shop, right? Yeah, I know, George. Here is a shop. You're going to go to the shop and you're going to buy bread, right? And the bread must be brown bread and it have grain in it and no crust, right? How do you write the code for that? Select bread from shop where bread equals brown and crust equals no crust. Order by date of sale or sell by date, right? You might want to include the cost. It's the way someone explains it to you and how you write the code. Yeah. T-SQL and MySQL, they are close, but there's little differences in how you write the syntax. But yeah, T-SQL, I am an expert on that. Used to train people a lot. So back to George. What George just gave you there is a classic example of, can you do X? You have a choice. You either go, yeah, or you throw it back and go, once I know the detail. How easy is it for someone to say to you, hey, I want a website. My designer will get the website designed. When I give you the design, you'll build it. You might at that point go, yeah, let's do it. Here's my deposit. They pay. 2 weeks later, you get the design. And at this point, you're like, what? Because you weren't expecting what they gave you. So what you say in that situation is, yes, that is possible once we know the design. So if there's going to be any further conversations up until that point, where you're helping the client out with branding and logo and colors and whatever, make sure you're paid for that. But make sure you make it clear that you are not going to build the website until you know what's being asked. Because if they go and throw something at you that's got this wonderful Lottie animation, can you do that? Because you just said yeah to the website. So watch out for what you agree with. Since Christmas, right? So what are we, 5 months? Not even full 5 months yet, 4 and a bit months. I've turned down 6 jobs. 6 jobs. Because either they asked for something that I was not comfortable with, or there was just no clarity. And what I got was, I know the words, but you do what you want. No, that ain't going to work. Don't want to know. I've been there before, and what usually happens is you end up redoing the website because you then do it based on what you think works, and the client goes, oh, I don't like it. Oh, it's too funky. Oh, it's too boring. Whatever. And you go, well, you gave no spec. You gave no example websites. So we had to go and do our own research. This is very early on as an agency. Now, we call the shots. On this website, this potential client, this would be great income-wise, but I would rather not spend the next 2 weeks smacking my head against my table because I agreed to something that I was not fully sure I could do. Someone says to me, can you do some decking for the garden? I can do decking. A pergola. I can build a pergola. I'm quite good with garden stuff, right? Then someone goes and says, I want, I don't know, a shed built from scratch. No, can't do that. I could probably work it out, but I'll be stressing myself out to get it right. You want some slabs? Yeah, I can do that. But you want a perfect slabbing area. I might struggle with that. Right? So it's about living within your means. It's like cooking. How many of you here cook? Hey, I can do an omelette. No problemo. I can cook rice. No problemo. You want a lamb biryani? I'd rather order it because I'm not sure I can do that. You know, I can do rice and you have your lamb curry separate, mix whatever. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. But lamb biryani, I'm not so sure. No, Soom. My degree is in here. I'll tell you now what my degree is, guys. That's my degree. I have never done a computer science. I've never done any computer qualification. I've never done a SQL qualification, Excel, Word, WordPress, nothing. I just learn on the job. I work it out. I experiment when I get home and I learn like that. Yeah, exactly, George. And I think some of it comes down to that as well. So it's a bit like, look, there will be periods where we don't have a great month and we only had one job and it wasn't a great month. But you just kind of, you kind of have to just kind of get on with it and look forward to the next month, you know? Yeah, I mean, so just back to Zoom. No, I don't have a degree or qualification in computers. I mean, look, hey Mark. No, Mark. Yeah, but Zoom. All right, so Zoom. Let me break it down now, Zoom. Okay, right. I was doing a law degree But because I had a job in the daytime, I was doing it in the evenings, my law degree. When I first joined the NHS, it was for £5 an hour. £5 an hour, just doing some typing work. £5 an hour, typing work. What was that? £13,000 a year, roughly. But when you show initiative and you get your foot in the door and a job opportunity comes up, you have a higher chance of getting it because your foot is in the door and they know you. They know what you can do. They know what you bring to the table. I've employed people, into the NHS who have no computer degree whatsoever. Geography, law, English, psychology, whatever. What I'm looking more for is what experiences do they bring? An aptitude. Do they bring the attitude? An aptitude. Same, both of those. Do I feel like they are someone we can mould, we can work with? Do I see a personality? Do I see enthusiasm? So I because I was still doing my law degree, halfway through my law degree, right? There was an opportunity for £5 an hour to work in the NHS doing typing, literally just typing stuff, numbers. It wasn't even that complex. I did it. 5 months later, I was then employed into my first NHS role. Remember, this is 2002. We're going back. That job was £16,000, which by today's standards is really low. But we are going back 20 years ago. £16,000. Because you got your foot in the door. Right? And when I joined then, I was still doing a law degree. In fact, I could probably say right now, I probably could have left my law degree. I haven't needed my law degree to do anything. One of the senior analysts there, her degree was in geography. The head manager of the department, their degree was in psychology. Your degree, let me tell you when your degree really matters. If you want to be a doctor, a solicitor, an engineer, a dentist, those degrees you need because you're not going to get a job. But if you're able to show that you've got a degree or a form of qualification which shows you're able to see it to the end, or that you have experience, it can massively help you. So in some ways, the law degree helped me to be very analytical. Because in law, you're problem solving, or you're trying to go right. So X, Y, Z happened. Why did it happen? A cause and effect and all of that. And when that helps me analytically with problem solving. And so I would say that, hey, Pickstar, it's kind of getting there, right? I'm still quite croaky. I'm kind of getting there. Very, very true, Catherine. And I want to give you guys a story, okay? I want to give you a story. So in 2014, there was an opportunity to employ 3 people. And I put the job advert out there. And this girl, because she was quite young at the time, she must have been about 21, I think. She came and she was really nervous. She was really nervous in the interview, okay? She didn't have a computer qualification, but she worked she worked in the finance department for a hospital at a very basic level. I'm talking very basic, band 2. We're talking £10,000 a year. We're talking basic band 2, right? In a finance department. And she was coming for a band 5 job where the minimum salary would have been, I think, 18,000 then. 17, 18,000 at the starting point. It might have been 19. And everyone where she worked told her, no chance. You're going from a band 2 to a band 5, 10 grand to 18, 19. You got no chance. You got no computer qualification. You're going for a junior analyst role. Junior analyst role. And she came to the interview and I could see her nerves. But do you know something? I could also see this enthusiasm inside of her where she wanted to learn. She wanted to understand. She gave it her all. Okay? And we interviewed 5 people. Half an hour after the interview, I made a decision. I called her up. And the first thing she said to me when I said to her on the phone, you've got the job, the first thing she said was, shut the hell up. Because she was that shocked that she got it. And I laughed and she laughed. And she said, but how did I get it? Because you know what? The other 4 people that came for that interview had qualifications, had experience, but I did not get the same enthusiasm. I got this kind of, they knew all the answers, but it just felt dry. And I did feel a bit like, what am I going to get out of them? And this person, we employed her. She started after Christmas in 2015. I spent a dedicated week with her and the other 2, getting them up to speed with NHS jargon, SQL, Tableau, Excel, skills, training them up bit by bit. She's still there. She's a senior analyst now, right? She's a senior analyst. She got married last year. She actually got married on the day of the Euro finals when England were playing Italy. So we were watching the football match at her evening reception, believe it or not, with her groom, all the audience, the attendees. But she's still there. She's still a friend. And I think back to how different could her life have been if, based on the fact that she was a basic band 2, and I hadn't given her that chance or opportunity. And she's happy. She's got her own house now with her husband. Her life changed. She bumped into some of her people she used to work with about a year after starting being with us. And they were gobsmacked because they basically said to her, you can't do it. So she attended the interview. She went to work in the morning, took an hour break from work because we were about a 10-minute walk away from where her current job was. It was one of the main hospitals in Leicester as well. Attending the interview, went back to work. And she did tell me, after she started working, how before the interview and after the interview, people mocked her. You ain't got a chance. What you're doing, you're wasting their time, you're wasting your time. Be realistic. For me, realistic is about what do you feel inside and what can you do? And she gave it a shot. And I'm very judgmental. I am very, very judgmental. I sometimes form an opinion of someone when they walk through the door. I'm really sorry about that. It's the legal side of me, the analytical mind. How do they come across? And if you can't, but I also try to understand how you come across. Maybe you're shy. Maybe you're new. Maybe you're an introvert. Maybe you're an extrovert. I get on with all types of people. But when she came in, I basically saw someone inside a shell. I could literally pick up within the first 2 answers of her question. This is someone who's probably always been told, you can't break the ceiling. You will live within your means, right? You can jump over this hole. There's a hole in the ground. You can jump over the hole. You can. But I will tell you, you can't. I will always tell you, you can't. And you start believing that you can't. But the minute someone says, you can jump, and you make that jump, you will get there. So there's my little pep talk right now, okay? That if you believe in yourself and you know you can do it, you will do it. What always holds us back is the imposter syndrome, where we start doubting ourselves. We start believing we cannot do something. So, but at the same time, be realistic. Because if this person, okay, she was only about 21, I think, if she had gone for a band 8 job, right, so now she's going into the £50,000 a year job, right, she's jumping up, that would have been unrealistic, right? That would have been unrealistic. I would have probably have taken her outside after the interview and said, if you really want to help yourself out, go for these jobs. I've said you can jump the hole, but don't try and jump the cliff, okay? You can't jump the cliff until you've got the tools, the jetpack, right? And the wings, right? And everyone below you blowing to make you fly over the cliff. You're not there yet. No, Mark, tell us about the elephant and the chain. Yeah, go on, Mark. Tell us what you're doing. I mean, not what you're doing, but, the elephant and the chain. So, when someone inspires you to break the ceiling or go beyond what you think, what others are saying you can't do, it is always good to do, but always be realistic as well. Because there's always going to be someone out there that says to you, hey, get all your money and buy Bitcoin or whatever, and you'll be a millionaire. Remember, there's risk, okay? There is risk. Sell your house and put all your money here. Don't worry, you'll be fine. No, there is risk. So always be realistic, weigh it up, okay? But take a chance. And this is why, I can't remember, Mark, if you ever shared how you started off in the NHS or what point you started at or where you came from. But it's a bit like, I gave up one day job and I went into the NHS earning £5 an hour. £5 an hour is quite measly. 13 grand a year. I was saving up to buy my first house. I was going to get married the following year. I needed to save up money quick. I was going to university, paying all my own fees myself. My money was getting shredded all the time. But you get your foot in, you start somewhere, and you slowly show what you can do, what is your initiative. You can either be the one that sits in the shadows and just does the work, or you can be the one that steps out the shadows. So let's see what Marcus said. In the circuits, elephants are tied to a small stake and put on a thin chain when they are babies. Very good point Mark's making there. They've been conditioned never to break the chain because because they're not strong enough to do it. But I'm waiting for Mark to say what you need is Mowgli to break the chain. Or maybe not Mowgli. Yeah. And Mark might disagree or agree with this. So what I found from 2002 to 2000 and I would probably say 2002 to 2012, a good 10 years, I found that in the NHS you were almost conditioned never to break the chain. The opportunities in NHS analytics, even in other departments, because my wife works in the NHS as well, and I knew other people as well that worked in London and other areas. There was almost like there was a bit of a conditioning in that you could only go so far, and people always held you back or stopped you progressing. It was more about who you know rather than what you know. But for the best part of the last 10 years, that started to break, and I think it was because you had different people come into the organisation. But you will find in many areas where you work, where you operate in, there can be a culture or a mindset that, you're only good at this. I remember when I first started in the NHS, the very first day I started, I was told, right, because you're new, you must bring in biscuits and you can make the first tea. Do you know what I did? I then said, why do I need to bring in biscuits? Because I don't eat much biscuits. I lied, but I said that. And the second thing I said, and I remember there were a couple of people in that office who gave me really dirty looks on my very first day. I basically said, I don't drink tea. Because in one of my first jobs, when I worked for the council, I was asked to make tea. And out of fear, I made tea for 8 people. They were all men, by the way. 2 of them complained because I didn't like the tea I made. The other were fine. And every now and again, whenever they had a meeting and they had people arrive for their meeting, Imran, go make us tea. I was not the secretary. I was not the administrator. I was there as a role as a technical officer, helping on building projects. And I was like, why am I making tea here? I've been conditioned to feel like I'm the tea maker. And when you start to get in that mindset, you start to feel like I will never get to their level. I will always be below them. So when I joined the NHS, the very first day I got asked to make tea, I basically said, I don't drink tea. I put my foot down but I did it in a nice way. Hey, I don't drink tea. You know? And one time I did make tea for someone because they really, really asked. They goes, go on, please, please, please. So I made tea. Do you know what I did? And you're either going to laugh or be shocked. Do you know what I did when I made their cup of tea? And Mark might know who I'm talking about here. And that person never asked me again. And this was back in 2006. Okay. So after 4 years of never making tea, I made a cup. Do you know what I did? I didn't wash their cup. I made them tea in the same cup. I basically just tipped it out and made them tea. So they could see the stains of their old cuppa in the cup. And they were horrified. And I went, you didn't ask me to wash. You asked me to make your tea. You gave me a cup that was unwashed. I made you tea. I don't care. I don't give a shit. It's basically what I did. And they never asked me again. Because I was almost making a point here. So not only did I have to make them tea, I had to wash their cup for them. No, I came here to work, not to make tea. Do you know what I mean? It was like they were horrified. And I was like, if you didn't give me a clean cup, you know, just going to read what Marcus said because so Mark joined in 2009. Yeah, do you know what I mean, Mark? It's almost like people expect you to start here, don't they? You know, and if you come in at a higher band or whatever, they almost feel like, well, how dare you? And it's like, but why can't you come in at a band 7? Why can't you? You've earned it. You've worked and got experience elsewhere. George, well done, George, as well. You know, and it's in 2014, I employed someone who is deaf. So we had an opportunity. We did 3 interviews, and every time I didn't employ because I wasn't happy with the candidates. On the 3rd time we did another interview, someone came to me who was deaf. I don't mean just a little bit deaf. They were fully deaf. And I employed them. And do you know why? Because they could do the job. And they did do the job. And I remember people saying to me, you employed a deaf person. I went, so what? For what I'm asking them to do, they can do it. Yeah, but they can't answer the phone. So what? So what? Their job is not speaking to patients. It's not speaking to doctors. It is speaking to other staff in our building. Our staff can send a friggin' email. This person can't hear, send them an email. And they did the job. In fact, they left after 8 months to go and do a degree, and I was happy for them. But, you know, if they can do it, let them do it. You're exactly right, Mark. You're exactly right. I mean, it's a bit like so that person I employed, that girl in 2014 who was 21, and I employed 2 other people, She was on a band 5, I employed someone else who was on a band 6, and someone else on a band 7. The 6 and 7 people, the band 6 and 7, had no NHS experience, but they had skill sets. And when I employed the band 7 one, 2 senior people had a massive go at me about it. You've employed someone with no NHS experience. How dare you do that? And I was like, but they've got experience and skills. And in the interview, they showed more willing and capabilities. Both of those band 6, 7 people now, one of them is an 8A and the other is an 8B. They've got themselves promoted. One of them is now working for NHS England. In fact, they got to NHS England about 4 years after I employed them, off their own back, with no NHS experience. And usually the ones that complain were the ones that have been in the NHS a long time. And by the way, I'm not bashing the NHS. This applies in all workplaces, school, health, engineers, wherever. Sometimes, Zoom, it comes back down to, the employer, what is their experience? So, because in my life, I have seen occasions where someone gave me a chance. So someone gave me a chance to do something and I proved them right. And when someone does that for you, you learn from it and you start to apply that. However, if you're always made to prove yourself, you might take on that mindset. I'm a little bit the opposite. So wherever I've worked, but sometimes in the NHS, you work in a team where you're expected to know the answer. It's a bit like web design, right? Some people are scared of asking a question online because they get the answer, oh, you're a web designer, you should know the answer to that. You use WordPress, you should know that. You use Elementor. How can you not know that? What, you don't know how to do HTML? Oh, you call yourself a web designer and you become afraid. But if people start to appreciate that you don't know something and they help you out a bit, you take that on board. So in the NHS, I'd sometimes be in a meeting, people talk about something, everyone is nodding, and I'm sat there going, what are they talking about? I don't get this. What are they talking about? I don't understand. And you feel defensive about it. But then what you have to do is kind of remember how you felt. And if I'm in a meeting, okay, and I detect or I think that we're talking about something where the junior person or the analyst might not understand, I then clarify what we're talking about. And sometimes some people say, you don't need to go into that detail. I go, yeah, but I'm making sure everyone understands. And it's a bit like, why do I help out on the Elementor Facebook group so much? Because I appreciate that someone out there, they ask a question, we all know the answer, but they don't. So rather than mocking them and making them feel bad for asking a simple question, you explain the answer. I mean, it's like sometimes some people put like some stuff on to do with images, the width of an image. It's an easy answer. Go to style, settings, do your width. But just explain. Because the more we help each other out, whether it's on Elementor or YouTube or even here on the live chat, it makes the world a better place, right? We're very philosophical today, aren't we? And I have to say, I'm surprised my voice has not cut out yet. It probably will in a bit, and I'll just keel over. I have to say, Pigstar, whenever I see your name, and I know it's not your fault, but I keep thinking of barbecues. You've conditioned me into thinking of barbecues and food whenever I see your name. Like you've got into my head. Oh, I don't know about my son, Catherine. Shall I show you what I've now implemented for him? Because we have had some issues. Let me show you something. So this is something I've implemented for my son, right? Okay. Let me hold this up. So this is a board that he has to look to every day. Okay, look at this board. Okay, here we go. So if I'm in a meeting, this is how long he is not allowed to disturb me. So let's say I'm doing an important client meeting. I can't have him rush in on a client meeting. So if I put this here, he is not allowed to come into my room for 30 minutes. Maybe he can't play inside. So every day, him and his friends from the street come into our house and play over here. Games and Nerf, they're shooting each other, Nerf bullets everywhere. This is me saying you're not allowed to play inside, and you can't play outside and you can't play inside. Maybe the weather's not great. Or they can't play inside. Sorry, they can't play inside, but he can play outside. Or they are allowed to play inside. So I've got this board where I can clarify to him now what's happening. And he does use this. We started this a couple of days ago and it works. Because as Mark knows, we've got these live chats at 5 p.m. every day as part of the 5-day challenge. So I've got to make sure I can't have him rushing in, you know. And he gets a point system as well. You know, brush teeth, wash bathe, listen. 2 points for listening. Because boy, he does not listen all the time. No iPad in the morning. But yeah, this is so... And it does work. I kid you not, this does work. The 5-day challenge, which started today, yeah. So it's where we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, where we go over... Nope. He does not get pocket money soon because the amount of money I spend on him... I mean, I pay for Fortnite Crew. Do you know Fortnite? £10 a month. I pay for that. I also pay for his PlayStation Plus, which is £6, £7 a month. So that's 17 quid I'm paying for him. No. Quite frankly, if he has said to me, can I have pocket money? I went, I'll give you pocket money if you stop doing your Fortnite Crew and your PlayStation Plus subscription. And he kind of goes, yeah, all right, forget it. You ain't going to get more money off me. Yeah, he can pay for his own Elementor as well. He's not getting my licenses. Yes, so what the sales, Monday to Friday, it's like the A to Z of what questions do we ask and process we go through about when building a website. Yeah, you are right, though, the moulding bit. He needs... He's a good kid. He's good when he does his homework, and he does listen when I get him down and go, right, we are going to do this homework, and he does it really well. He just, I think the school and me a little bit, we do wonder if there's a bit of ADHD, so a little bit of like attention deficit and hyper, and all of that. We do wonder a little bit, because he is quite hyperactive. His attention span is small. He doesn't focus all the time. But it is just about direction, because I do know that when he has direction, he's rock on solid. He's really good. Man, Pixstar, I just read what you said about barbecue, and you made me hungry again. Oh wow, guys, have you seen what Pixstar wrote there? The best or second best pizza they've had in their life. That, compliments like that changes everything, doesn't it, Pixstar? I mean, I reckon you were having a good day anyway, and suddenly your day just went into the atmosphere. Pickstar, do you know what? It's I think the trouble with him is that it's less about being bored. It's more about he keeps thinking ahead. So he thinks, right, if I do this, I can go out, I can play on my PlayStation, I can do that, I can do that, I do that. He's overthinks stuff a bit too much. But yeah, Pickstar, tell us, what went through your head? What went through your head when you were told that? You're saying it meant a lot, and you're saying that was last Saturday. Do you still have that good feeling? Because you know what? Such a good feeling sticks with you, doesn't it? Hey, Eric. Good feelings last. Sue, I mean, I've just read your comment there because I sometimes see comments. I read them in the wrong order as I read stuff. There are days where me and Raheem really fall out. We really fall out, and me and him often have to have a very serious talk about boundaries and about what he can and can't do. No, Eric. So the Ask Me Anything, that's part of the 5-day challenge. That is evening time, all right, 5 p.m. This is just the live chats I do as part of the web squadron. So this isn't the 5-day challenge thing. You can ask you. I've already seen your question anyway, by the way, and I'm just answering. So don't worry, Eric, okay? So, Pickstar, 3 days in preparation, pizza dough self-knead. Wow. No, Eric, don't apologise. Eric, don't apologise, mate. 3 days to make the dough. Wow. I think sometimes it's one of those things where like if you love it a lot, you'll make a business out of it. If you only like doing it now and again, you got to weigh it up, right? Yeah, don't worry, Mark. I've seen his question. He's posted it as well. I've seen it as well, and I've given him a teaser of a reply. So Eric, I've already answered it on the Facebook group. Okay. I am rubbish at pizza dough. Tried it. I have this thing though about, when I'm gardening, I don't mind getting my hands dirty. When I'm decorating, your hands get dirty. I get it. But when I'm cooking, I hate to get my hands dirty. When you have to mix stuff, I hate it. As soon as I've mixed it, I'm over at the tap washing my hands. Hate it. Who here doesn't mind getting their hands dirty when cooking? I cook, but I don't like to get overly dirty with it. Yes, you are. I mean, tried it once, Pickstar. I was like, I was tearing it apart, slamming it, punching it, kneading it, slamming it. Just to let you all know, though, that I am only going to be here live for another 10 minutes. Mainly because we'll be live for 1.5 hours, and I want to give my voice just a little bit of a rest until 5 p.m. where we get a live chat. Yeah, I'm a bit like I'm a bit like Jason. I'm a bit like, yeah. There's something about, isn't there? There's something about food. So what's the the form I can't say it. The thermo say that really quick. Thermomix. Say Thermomix really fast 5 times. Go on, everyone. Say it really fast. Go on. Thermomix. Thermomix. Is that just for like? Is that just for mixing then? It's not a thermometer built in, is it? Is it just like a whisker or a mix? Or is it one of those like? It's one of those dough kind of mixing machine things, isn't it? That kind of go like that. But yeah, it's just there is something, isn't there, about food on your hands. You're either okay with it or you're not so okay with it. It's like Nando's, right? You know how Nando's say, yeah, just eat with your hands. I still go with a knife and fork. Who here, when they're at Nando's, uses their hands? Who does it with their hands and who does the knife and fork? So when you're at Nando's and you're having a chicken, who goes with their hand? I mean, obviously, if it's a burger, you're going to use your hand. Look, get over it. You're going to use your hand, right? That's just the way. Or you might even do knife and fork. But when you go Nando's, because they like to promote, you know, what'd you go for? What'd you go for? Yeah, wrap or burger only. But yeah, does anyone here do it with their hands? Pickstar, are you talking about the dough still? Yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah. I think it's because I did once, so I had the half chicken once, and when I used my hands, because it had like the medium sauce on it, I just felt like I was getting all the sauce on my hands. It was like, what the heck? When you got sauce on it, and you're like, it's all over your hands, and then you grab the tissue, and you're like, I mean, again, Pickstar, we are talking about Nando's here, aren't we? I gotta always double check what you're referring to when I see what you write. 7 more minutes, everyone, all right, and then I will unfortunately say goodbye and hopefully see you all tomorrow. But 7 minutes. Don't oh shit! Don't you all feel like a Nando's right now? Yeah, Pickstar. We are talking about. Yeah. Oh God. Who here is starving right now? Who here is starving? Because I am starving. Do you know what I've had for lunch so far? It's just a little block of mature cheddar cheese so far. Do you know why? Because for the last 2 or 3 days, I feel like I've eaten way too many carbs. Way too many carbs. So I want to just, we're going flat out detox today, guys. Coke, chips and chocolate. Chicken legs? Oh, right, you've eaten some drumsticks. No nuts today. I am about to go and get some. I am about to go and get some. It's ready to snooze, Eric. Chicken thighs. Yeah, thighs and legs are okay. Don't you hate it when you get the neck piece? Who here has picked up a bit and then you realise you've got the checking neck piece? Why? I never understand why some places even bother giving you the check-in. Yeah, take care, Jimmy. I never understand why do some places give you the neck piece. Do you love the neck? I can't. I don't know if it's just me, but there's hardly any meat on it, right? And it's like sticking an organ grinder in your mouth. It's like finding an organ grinder and going, what is... I feel like I've just created this urge of food right now. Yeah, the taste is different. The taste is different. It's bony. That's why it's different, Eric. And you know what's worse, though, is like there's a bit of chicken and you're getting it out of the neck piece, right? And then as you're getting it, you actually break the bone. So you get a mouth full of bone. And you feel like that when you're getting it out, you're literally getting your teeth out because you can feel there's specks of bone everywhere. Yeah, see you later, Mark. Yeah, you know what? Let's call it a day here. Right, everyone? Do you know what? I love that. It's an alpaca day. Enjoy the rest of your day, Catherine. I'm sure, Catherine, you've got tons of stuff to do, but you're doing really, really well on the videos and stuff. And you're building up an audience, and that's the great thing. Take care, everyone, okay? I'll see you later as well, Eric, on the 5-day challenge. It's been good. I'm glad to be back. The voice is getting better. It will get better. I mean, I've got a huge backlog of videos and stuff to do. But take care, everyone. See you all soon. Stay safe. Go and eat some chicken neck. Or not. Take care. See you all soon. Take care soon. Good to still have you here as well. And I hope you feel inspired, okay? Know what you're going to do. Aim for something, but be realistic, okay? And go and get it. Take care, everyone. Bye.